Once a year, the four-wheeling faithful make their annual pilgrimage to Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, when the mother of all jamborees rolls into town. Nightly cruising is a sign of their devotion. But soon, the ceremony shifts to the ultimate off-road machines, whose wares are measured not by chrome and fancy paint. It's rusted iron which proves their mettle. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the All-Stars of the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Series. Today, it's the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Summer Nationals from the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Lee, and one of the big stories this weekend is the return of a storied monster truck. It's USA 1. But for Old Glory and its new driver, Kirk Dabney, this weekend has not been so glorious. Here with more on that story is my sidekick, Army Armstrong.
Gary, the colors are red, white, and blue. The name of the vehicle is the USA 1, so you know you got to be looking at a Chevrolet. That's exactly right. And a lot of people wonder why Chevrolet is not as active in this sport as Ford with the Bob Chandler operation and Dodge with the Fred Schaefer operation. Chevrolet is being represented basically by privateers. And even though this privateer truck driven by Kirk Dabney, who's recently teamed up with Everett Jasmer, did not get past the Bob Chandler Ford in the first round, he came back with a big smile on his face. He said, believe me, the Chevrolet people are going to have something to cheer about before the year's over. Back to you, Gary.
Well, Army, here's a look at that round one matchup between Kirk Dabney in the USA 1. Now, this is the truck that won the national title back in 1988. It was then driven by Rod Litzow. Unfortunately, Dabney goes up against what could be the class of the field today, Andy Brass in Wildfoot, but they went at it tooth and nail, just like they did in the old days of TNT Racing.
Well, the USA 1 Chevrolet actually ran him tough over the first half of the field, but the Ford later model suspension seemed to tell the story on that run, Gary.
Well, also in round one competition, Mark Hall, who last season campaigned the USA 1 truck of Everett Jasmer for a race or two, drew Fred Schaefer, but the executioner was no match for Barefoot. Now remember how Mark Hall hits the second set of cars. That, of course, was instrumental. Once again, we want to show you a new camera angle we've come up with. Now, talk about hazard pay. Watch this angle of Mark Hall coming right at you.
Yeah, we call it the crush cam.
And it would be expensive to crush that camera. Well, the biggest upset, Army, of round one, Don Van Loo in the far lane shows he can step up and run with the big boys, taking out the snakebite Ford of Rick Rattler.
This is some of that rivalry I was telling you about, where Dodge and Ford are starting to go head-to-head. Dodge takes that round.
And closing out round one, watch the vicious shot Gene Patterson takes, taking the measure of John Moore, and no problem, but watch this landing.
Working for a living, Gary Lee.
Oh, that hurt. Now, that run came the day after he collapsed the rear end in qualifying. Watch the air Patterson gets in laying down the second quickest pass in the qualifying session.
You know, but Gary, on this run, he hits hardest where the feathers are the thinnest. This is what happened.
Well, we'll see how those tough landings affect Bigfoot in round two. It's coming your way right after these messages on Trucks and Tractor Power. Welcome back to Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, where Ford Trucks present the PENDA four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Summer Nationals, a part of the B.F. Goodrich Performance Series. Gary Lee along with Army Armstrong as we take a look at round two matchups. Andy Brass and Bigfoot against the Monster Patrol and Paul Schaefer. And it's Fred Schaefer and Barefoot against the Carolina Crusher, Magnum Force against Bigfoot. So, Army, your thoughts on round two's matchups?
Gary, Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania always brings out the best in the monster trucks, and this is no exception. We're ready to go into the second round action, and we notice something that's kind of unique. That's the fact that Dodge, Ford, and Chevrolet are all even going into this round. Each one of the manufacturers took 2 wins in that first round to roll them over into the second. Let's see how it's going to pan out. Back to you, Gary.
As we start round two competition, there is a good look at Wildfoot, the latest creation from Bob and Marilyn Chandler out of St. Louis, Missouri. The driver, of course, is Andy Brass, and he pulls alongside the Monster Patrol, and there's a look at Paul Schaefer.
Paul Schaefer, one of the young up-and-comers in this sport. He'd already made a name for himself in the sport of professional mud racing. He's won world championships in that sport. He's rolled over now on the MTRA circuit runs a Jamboree Series, and he draws Andy Brass out of St. Louis, Missouri, like you say, in the Wildfoot truck, Gary.
And Brass was the quick qualifier. Here's a look back at his qualifying run. Now watch the air this guy gets.
But also notice how soft the truck lands. That's the trick. See, it absorbs the energy. Well,
yeah, but look at the shot he took in the cockpit, though. Now, here is a look at Paul Schaefer's round 1 win over Brian Welsh driving the moving Violation.
Is that the same Paul Schaefer that's a band director on a national television show?
No, I don't think he works with David Letterman.
No wig and beard. And this is what he does in the weekend.
Here's a look again at Wildfoot as he pulls alongside Paul Schaefer at the Monster Patrol. This is round 2 competition from Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania.
Chevrolet and Ford, one of them's going to go on a trailer and not be able to come back. Who is it going to be? Andy Brass is the odds-on favorite. Just because of time in the seat, Schaefer runs him tough. No.
Oh, I like that new camera angle. Hang on there, Schaefer. He gets over into Andy's shutdown lane. But Andy Brass will advance, and Paul Schaefer will put that monster truck on the trailer and take it back home.
The unique rule in the sport is he can get over in the other lane. The orange cones down the middle indicate a center line. You can get over in the other lane because you can't control your vehicle. The rule is, though, you cannot make contact with the other truck. So
and
no
look
harm,
at the
no
height
foul
there.
here.
Look at the air that Andy Brass is getting in Wildfoot. And Brass, the pilot, has landed. Let's go down trackside and get a comment with him. Army?
Andy, you looking good. New driver suit and all going into the next round. What's it feel like out there?
Well, the track's feeling a little bit better than what it did in qualifying earlier. You know, they did a lot of work to the ramps. We was having a lot of problem with air. The steam still felt like we got a lot of air on this run. But like I say, we switched lanes this round. You know, we was digging in off the line. Seemed like the truck was twisting on us. You know, we did a lot of work to the Firestone tires on us. We cut them a little different. So we pulled over in the other lane, hoping we could pull a straight shot off the line. We did do that. We was pulling pretty good. You know, we was hoping to beat a good time, beat Fred's time. You know, we did do that. So I'm happy with the run.
Well, of course, Andy was referring to Fred Schaefer's first round run of a 5.417. Now, Fred draws Gary Porter in round 2. There's a look at the Carolina Crusher.
Another Chevrolet versus Chrysler battle. Remember, when we started this round, we had 3 Fords, 3 Dodges, and 3 Chevrolets. Porter's one of the Chevrolets. Matter of fact, he's the only one left right now, as Paul Schaefer was bumped out previously by the foot.
Well, we'll take a look now at Porter's round 1 win over Tropical Thunder, Wayne Smozanik out of Jupiter, Florida. There's a look at the margin of victory for Gary Porter. And now back to round 2 action. There is a look at Gary Porter, the Carolina Crusher, and he pulls up against Fred Schaefer in barefoot. Chevrolet and Dodge.
Dodge has a tendency to really leg it on the big end, try to really air it out. Oh, look at that. He flew over the finish line, Gary.
Man, look at the altitude. We've got to notify the local air traffic controllers of the competition here this afternoon. Let's take a look again as the Dodge knocks out the Chevrolet coming right at you. There is Barefoot and Fred Schaefer, the old drag racer, doing it here in Bloomsburg.
Look at the horsepower that they're putting down on that track with those big old tires.
Well, let's go back down trackside and get a comment from Fred Schaefer, Army.
Gary, we know for a fact that Bob Wildberger with Chrysler Corporation got with you and said, hey, wanted you to go to the head of the class. It looks like you're working your way through.
Yeah, Army, I'm taking them one at a time, and there's some really fast trucks out there today, and the heat and everything, I think, is playing a toll on everything else, too.
Well, now Fred can watch the rest of round 2 competition, and as we watch the next pairing, we'll see Magnum Force with Don Van Loo pull alongside Gene Patterson in the Bigfoot Ford. Now, we've had lots of damage to Bigfoot done this weekend during the qualifying section. As we told you earlier, they tore the truck up pretty good. So everyone back at the shop in St. Louis has been brought to Bloomsburg to help rebuild it.
Yeah, they made the phone call last night, and they showed up with everything but the kitchen sink, but they got to go against Van Loo, and Van Loo is part of this Dodge movement that I was telling you about. Dodge wants to go head-to-head with Ford. Their dream is coming true right now. This is a corporate war right now. It's not just for these two guys.
Well, of course, the Chevy Privateers are on the trailer. We had 2 Chevys at the start of round 2. They're both out. Oh, look how close this one is.
You call it.
No, I don't. That was just about as close as you can come to a dead heat, a photo finish. Fans love that one. There's a guy with the home videotape camera. He'll have to go back and check the video to see who won this thing.
Boy, Van Loo is really starting to step up. You know, he's getting confidence with the truck. characteristics. Dodge truck motor to the rear, lower the driver. Ford truck motor in the front. Look at the balance here.
And it looks like Gene Patterson will take the victory. Gene takes it. We'll talk to him now with Army.
When you drive a blue Ford in a monster truck division named Bigfoot, a lot of pressure on you. These guys aren't going to let you blink. You got to earn everything you get out there, don't you, Gene?
That's right, Army. You know, the Ford Bigfoot team, we're running real good here this weekend. Last night we had a lot of problems in qualifying. I'd like to thank everybody who pitched in, Larry Hall from BDS. We had to put a motor, transmission in this truck and completely rebuild the rear suspension on it. We got it done. We're out here racing. We're running for all it's worth, and these boys, just like you said, they ain't going to let us die. You know, we're going to just keep right out there. We're chugging away.
Well, Gene Patterson certainly has his game face on because he is a sore racer right now after some of those landings. But we're coming back with more competition from Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. Stay with us. We have a great crowd on hand here at Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. Glad to have you along as we're set for the semifinal pairings. As we take a look at the matchups, it will be Wildfoot with Andy Brass against Magnum Force and Don Van Loo. Fred Schaefer's Barefoot will pair up against Gene Patterson in Bigfoot. And then we'll see who wins it all here in Bloomsburg.
Well, at this point in time, both drivers are on the starting line doing what we call dry hop, trying to get their lane right for this run, Gary.
Well, Donnie Van Loo will be making a very rare appearance in the semis, and Army, you spoke with him following his second round run.
This quick loser in a round, that's where you're coming back in. But, boy, that's some incentive. Even when you know you might get put away, you still go hard. That's why you're still around in this thing.
Yes, sir. I mean, you really got to go hard. But the quick losers are one thing to keep you up there, keep your hopes going so you can come back and make it all look good for the people and the kids. They all love it.
Good luck to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, here we go. Back to the race of the semis with Van Loo and Andy Brass.
Now remember, Brass is established with the Wildfoot truck. People want to know, why Wildfoot? Why not Bigfoot? You can't run two trucks with the same name in this series. That wraps that up. Meanwhile, Dodge and Ford.
Andy Brass by a fender. They almost get together, and Brass almost goes over. And there's a look at Jim Kramer taking a hippity hop across the staging area down there. Boy, he realized how close Andy Brass came to getting on his noggin. And let's go down to Army with Jim Kramer.
Well, I tell you what, you're giving a kid good advice, but he's going to make an old man out of you real quick.
I think this monster truck race is going to make an old man out of me. They killed him kind of fast down there, Army. See, they got a little bit in trouble. I'd like to see him let him go run a little bit longer in that kill box. You know, the kill box is great. We got a lot of room here in Bloomsburg. I like to see him just not kill him so fast. Andy right away hit the ground. He killed him. He was out of shape.
And he needs the power to actually steer the truck back down.
In some cases, yeah, in that case, exactly. He got a little bit up on his left side, as you saw. He needs the power. Just a short blast, he could have got out. I mean, I really respect the kill box, but in that case, I think it's a little too quick for the area we have. But it's all right.
There's a guy that certainly spent his share of time in the cockpit of Bigfoot. Works now at the home office of Bigfoot in St. Louis as we take a look again, and both these guys get out of shape in a big way right here at the finish line.
Oh, that's ballet in air.
Yeah, they almost got together right there. Andy almost gets upside down. Let's go back down trackside to Army with Andy Brass.
What you're looking at right now is the crew's coming over. When the truck landed, it landed kind of a lollygaggle. They think it may have rolled the wheel, rolled the tire off of the rim. I'm with Andy Brass right now. Andy, well, you had your hands full down there. There's no slack time on that finish line area of this track, is there?
No, there isn't. You know, the finish line on this track's been kind of rough. We pulled over in this lane. We're getting better traction off the line in this lane, but the landing area in the left lane's pretty rough on us. It's throwing everybody around. We got down there, throwed us up onto one wheel. Just as we started to step back in to bring her back down, we're running the remote ignition interrupters, and they killed us because, like I said, I don't know exactly what went on. I'd have to look at the video and see. Somebody said they was going to hit us. They thought we was going to hit in the air, so it must have been a pretty rough run. That's around for both of us.
Well, as the crew continues to work on the Wildfoot, we take a look at Barefoot now with Fred Schaefer, and Fred will go up against Gene Patterson in Bigfoot. Now, they've watered the track there at the starting area. It's a little loose on the line, and both drivers are trying to pack down the dirt to get a better bite. There's a look at Gene Patterson in Bigfoot.
That's that dry hop procedure we were telling you about a moment ago that came over from the sport of drag racing. In drag racing, they do it to heat the tires to get it a little bit sticky. In monster truck racing, they do it to clear out the path in front of them. They don't have to worry about bite with those big cleats or those big bars on those tires.
So it's Dodge against Ford in the semis as Andy Brass looks on because he will face the winner of this one for the championship here in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania.
Schaefer came up on the torque converter trying to get out of the hole quick, Gary.
Oh, how close was that one? Let's get the opinion of an expert down there.
You call it. Who do you think won?
I think Fred did there a little bit. It looked like he did hit the second ramp a little faster than what Gene did. It looked like Gene pulled him pretty good over the first set of hills, but when Fred landed, he's running a Crowder glide with the clutch in it, and it gives him that like slingshot effect right when he lands, and I think that might have helped him out a lot there.
Can you handle the Dodge?
Yeah, we can.
The voice of confidence as we take another look at the replay, and here's what Andy Brass was talking about. Now watch this slingshot effect on the landing.
Yeah, when he settles down, it's like winding up a rubber band. The harder it goes, the tighter it gets.
Well, let's talk to our winner. There's a look at the finish, Fred Schaefer.
Well, Fred Schaefer climbs out of barefoot. Now, Fred, like we say, we know there's a big meeting of the top guns, and they told you to go after those Fords. Now it's down to one-on-one. Can you handle Andy Brass?
I don't know, Army. I'll tell you what, that big Dodge motor in there is doing the job. If I can do my job in there, I think we're going to come out real good because that Dodge motor's got the power.
Okay, now Andy said something about the transmission you have, the fact that no man's land is where you can really plant all that Dodge horsepower. Getting off the line, is that as important to you, or are you going to try to pull him on the other end?
Well, I think that horsepower is going to make it up between the cars, hopefully, but I want to stay with him on the line. If I can stay with him on the line, I think between the cars, I'll get him.
It should be interesting. We'll take a look again of this run between Barefoot and Bigfoot coming right at you. There's the crush cam. There's the undercarriage of Barefoot. So it's going to be an all-foot final from Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, coming up next. Stay with us. Welcome back to Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, where Ford Trucks present the PENDA four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Summer Nationals, a part of the BF Goodrich Performance Series. These jamborees offer a host of activities for the truck lover as well as the entire family. To find out more, call or write the Special Events Promotion Company. Now, during the commercial break, the folks here have been having a good time, but the atmosphere in the Bigfoot camp has not been so pleasant. Let's send it over to Army Armstrong, who's with a very disappointed Andy Brass.
Andy, can you explain to me why you're not going to be making a final?
Well, we're going in, we checked the truck there, we bent the rear sway bar. It's got our cantilever suspension there, what's run the whole rear suspension of the truck. It's tweaked out about 6 inches out of its normal pattern. So we're just kind of afraid that if we do make the run, we're liable to break the bar off or mess up our shocks or something. You know, we're going to do more damage than we are good. We're looking at only 200 points in this round, so we're kind of figuring we're going to give up the points and have her ready so we can qualify for the next race later on. You know, we're figuring now we're going to lose. You know, if we break the truck, we're going to lose more and won't be able to, like I say, won't be able to come back for the next race where we'll lose more points there than what we would if we just backed out and lost the 200 here.
So benefiting from Andy Brass's misfortune will be Don Van Loo, who will be taking on the star of the Dodge fleet, Fred Schaefer's Barefoot. For Van Loo, this marks his first ever final appearance on this circuit, but it's not the only initial item we have to talk about in the championship shootout. And earlier, Army asked a very happy Don Van Loo about it.
One thing for sure, Dodge is going to be happy after this next run. You and Fred Schaefer, first time that I can remember being an all-Dodge final.
Yeah, it's unreal. I can't ever believe it myself that Dodge gets to come back with both trucks in the final round.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Now, you've been good all day long, but a little luck played a role here when they had to pull that other truck away to put you into this final.
Yeah, maybe I can be lucky again and beat Freddie. You know, I don't want to wish him no bad luck or anything, but I'd sure like to go to the winner's circle.
Well, Army, it's always nice to be witness to history, and two Dodges side by side for the championship. We are witnessing history.
Well, Van Loo knows one thing for sure. The worst he can finish is second today.
Side by side off the first jump, but there it is, the big red Barefoot, the red Dodge of Fred Schaefer.
Oh, we got a problem. Rear steer went away on Van Loo. He's okay.
Lou almost went on over. Van Loo almost got on his head that time. But there's a look at the Magnum Force truck as he finishes second. As we take a look one more time, even off the start, but down in no man's land, it was Fred Schaefer.
The big Chrysler Hemi's making all the horsepower. Like Fred said, if you can stick it, you can go to the other end quick. He did.
Fred said the engine would do its part.
4 out of 4 in Bloomsburg.
And a happy crew as Fred does his part. Takes a while to unbuckle and climb out. Let's go talk to Fred Schaefer.
Fred, I tell you what, you got to be tickled to death with this. The crew's tickled to death. You've done a great job. After the last race, you almost had to just regroup and just make yourself not let that happen again.
That's right, Army. Two trucks, it puts a lot on you when you first get started out there, and we're getting lined out now, and we're feeling real good about what we're doing.
I was going to buy a new pickup tomorrow. What kind should I buy?
Dodge, no doubt about it.
A valiant effort by Don Van Loo, and what a disappointment for Bigfoot Andy Brass as Wildfoot not being able to run in the finals. Our congratulations, though, to Fred Schaefer, who gave those Dodge executives just what they wanted. For Army Armstrong, I'm Gary Lee. We'll see you next week for another edition of Truck and Tractor Power. Now here's news and exciting video release from Diamond P Sports.
Want to walk away with a free Diamond P hat? Well, now you can do just that when you buy And They Walked Away 3. Diamond P's latest helmet-hammering, bone-jarring thrill ride featuring motorsport's most perilous moments. By calling 1-800-257-9191, you get the free Diamond P hat and 70 minutes of heart-stopping action. Stock cars tangle and tumble on the oval high banks. Drag racers experience terrifying infernos. Sprint cars dance too close and pay the consequences. Mud racers, monster trucks, and motorcycles explode in awesome displays of men and metal turn to mayhem. And in each breathtaking incident, the driver beats the odds. To get your copy of And They Walked Away 3 plus a free Diamond P hat, call 1-800-257-9191 for credit card orders, or send check or money order for $24.95 plus $4 shipping and handling to the address on your screen. That's 1-800-257-9191.